Hello fellow traders, Philip Tigerson from Stock Market Strategy. We had a member asking us how I determine the appropriate SMA period, meaning the length of a simple moving average for either a stock, future or currency. And he asked because he noticed that I stressed the importance of trading with the trend, and I often identify that trend using an MA. I will then do a video now explaining my use of MAs and how I determine the length. Using an MA for me is more analysis, and the truth is I actually use the same length all the time. So I don't really have an answer to our member about what length to choose. I have chosen a 150 MA because it equals a 30 week. That's what Stan Weinstein mentioned in his book. I also use a 50 MA because I know a lot of hedge fund and institutionals and momentum traders use the 50 MA. They often say if price is above 50 MA, it's long. If it's below, it's short. So I use that kind of backup. Can you say that? They have my back. If I try to at least be with them, I will be doing fairly well. But first I use the moving average for determine the bigger picture. Let me just show you on S&P 500. In this situation, the 150 MA doesn't really tell us that much. Let's just have a look at it. It breaks through the MA here, so it's not really great at acting as support. It did act as support here, but then it just went up here through the MA, and then we actually accelerated far away from the MA. It also pulls back close to it, but not entirely, and next time it pulls back, it pulls through the MA. So in this situation, it's easy to say that I'm using the wrong length. But I am not changing my MAs every day or for new chart I'm using or for every different stock ticker. No, I'm going to use it for analysis. That's the first thing. And this is here you can see that the MA is sloping down. And now I can look back over time because I'm using the same length. And I can see that we have not had a downsloping MA before in this bull market. So I see something that deviates from normal behavior. The MA is doing something new. It's not done in this 2 years or 2.5 year bull market. So that's a warning sign for me. Because I see that, I tighten up my stops. I do some extra analysis. I keep an extra eye on things. What I also use it for is where price are in relation to that. For example, look at Netflix. We can see that Netflix here do not come down to the 150 MA. So again, I really wouldn't be able to use it for entries. But I use the same length again because I need to have consistency. For example, here in this situation, you can see how we come down towards the MA. We come down towards it again here. I can then see that we are coming the same distance. It's hovering above the 150 MA with the same distance. When it then crosses, or even just comes down to the MA, I know there's something different. When it comes all the way down to the 150 MA, Netflix is deviating from normal behavior. That's a warning sign for me. It's not trading in symmetry. It's not trading and moving like normal. So some people might go, oh, I'm going to buy the 150 MA because that stands Weinstein MA or stock market strategy. No, it's already deviated from normal behavior. And a way you can see that is by adding another indicator, but I don't do that because if I add 10 new indicators to make sure I find the right indicator, I can't see price action just because of all the indicators. But I'm going to do it in this example just to show you. And I'm adding a moving average, and this is just a guess of what it should be. For example, it could be a 120. That's fairly well. You can see a 120 moving average would have been better here. It come down here and touch the 120, and it comes almost down here. So in this situation, a 120 would have been better, and that's to answer the member's question. That's how I determine it, simply by looking at where price are in relation to my longer term moving average, and I then use if you can call it, an imaginary moving average. I don't have them in, just like I explained, because it will clutter up my chart. But I get the same information when it breaks this MA here. Something new is happening in Netflix. When it breaks the new dark blue 120 MA, something new is happening in Netflix, and that's a warning sign. But I already told you that was a warning sign, simply by looking at where price were in relation to the MA. So let me delete this one again, and you can see when it touches this MA, there's a warning sign, because it's never done that before. So instead of using 10 different moving averages and have to recalculate which is the right one, I look at where price are in relation to that moving average. Let's look at another one, Hans, a stock we mentioned in the market update. Here you can see the same thing. We are hovering above the MA with the same distance. So in this case, there is a moving average that is better, where you can visually see price touch that MA, but I don't need that MA in, because I can quickly see that we're hovering above this MA with the same distance. But let's, for sake of discussion, put in another moving average. And I think I'll use perhaps a 125 moving average. And then you can see that it almost works as well. Probably a 120 instead. And this is just a coincidence that 120 is working on both of these charts. Don't go out and change all your stock charts with a 120 moving average. Here again I can see that 120 would have been slightly better than 150. But again, I cannot have so many moving averages on. So let me just recap this. I'm using my longer term moving average to see where price are hovering above it, or below it for that matter, but especially above it, and use that to determine whether there's any warning signs. Let me remove this MA again, and let me show you GLD, the gold ETF. In this situation, it actually hits my 150 MA perfectly. So this means that this is what I'm using now, not necessarily using for entries, but I know that if gold breaks 150 MA, it will deviate from normal price action because it's not done it before. So that's how I use the MAs, and that's how I indirectly choose the length of my MA. I don't change it, I don't do anything mathematical formula. I just put them in so it's easy for me to see where price are in relation to that moving average, instead of having a specific one or a new one for every currency. So I use it as a reference point. And let me just remove these MAs. And then let's look at the chart now. It's difficult for me to see if any pullback deviates from normal pullback behavior. I don't have any reference points. It's very difficult. So when I put in a moving average, let me just change the length and my color. I use the same color, of course, it's easy for me to visualize it. Then, oops, quickly see it, touch, touch, and touch. So easy, especially if you look through thousands of charts, sectors, stocks, indexes, currencies, whatever. It's easy for me to see where prices are in relation to that moving average. I hope this makes sense to our member who asked a question about how I determine the length. This ends today's educational video. Be sure that you also watch our market update video, which is a little bit in relation to this. So please make sure you watch both of them. Have a good day.